chilly today. Very sorry to announce this. Very sad news. Some of you have guessed by the title of the video what's happened. Lee, LB Custom Knives. Lee Bennett. This is it's going to be tough, so try and bear with me, okay? Lee had an accident in the workshop, and he was rushed into hospital. This was Thursday just gone, on the 17th of January, and he was pretty much on life support throughout the whole night into the morning. The situation deteriorated. Man, he was just fighting all night, bless him. And he was even crying, but he carried on fighting. And, he was at 20 breaths a minute, ended up going down to 5 breaths a minute. As some of you know, that's not a good sign, and unfortunately the decision was made to turn off his life support Friday morning, yesterday, around 10 o'clock. And sadly Lee is no longer with us. He's passed on. He leaves 3 kids, his wife Crystal, and obviously his mum and dad and other members of the family, and 2 dogs. He loved his dogs. Now Lee, what can I say about Lee? Some knew him, some probably didn't. Some knew him a lot, some knew him in a small way. But for the people who saw Lee on his videos, and indeed met Lee, and obviously people who knew Lee for a long time, he had a huge heart, massive heart, and and a huge smile. Man, he could walk into a room with that smile, and it would just being hit by Mike Tyson. You know, it's just like, man, killer smile. And his passion to help others, and above all be a decent human being. Man, he helps so many people. I'm struggling because it's now past tense, and even speaking in them terms it's hard to get your head around, you know. I mean, you know, I was told about this, you know, about half an hour to an hour after it happened, and I've done, believe you me, I've done my crying as my partner. I actually worked it out speaking to Moleskin Joe via text. I reckon I probably cried solidly for 6 hours over the last couple of days. And just when you think, you know, you're sort of over the worst, you know, things like this come along, and you know, and I think the thing that I really couldn't get my head around was the fact that his mum was saying to me, crying over the phone, Shadow, bless him, when's Daddy coming home? And I tell you, being a parent now, it's you'll only get it if you're a parent, you know. When's Daddy coming home? Oh, man, it just broke my heart. Over and over again, I just heard that saying all morning yesterday. I had to get sent home from work after 2 hours. I just couldn't handle it, you know. Cried the way home in the car, cried on the way there, cried throughout the day yesterday. It's so sad, because Lee was such, it's the was, you know, was such a really nice guy. And You know, he was, without doubt, one of the best knife makers in the United Kingdom, without question. And you know, Lee, he started from nothing. You know, he was already really excellent at leatherwork, and then it morphed into making knives. You know, fixed blades, then onto folding knives, which was his passion. He always, he always, he always pushed himself. He always wanted to just be the best. You know, the best of the materials, the best tools that he can afford, and he just continually tested himself. And Sandy's a bit like that the same. You know, you're so focused and you're so driven, and you just go for it. And to me, anyone who's thinking of starting out in the knife making business, you know, what an inspiration. I mean, I'm going to be putting links onto this video to his YouTube channel, and what he's left behind is so much information, hints and tips, techniques, what he's learned, all of the processes that he's gone through to get it to the best in his ability, in his own mind, and he's decided to share it with everyone. Now, not many knife makers do that. Lots of knife makers will keep certain things like heat treat a close guarded secret, okay? But Lee, he shared not all, but a lot of information to help others. And do you know what, I was actually, when I got sent home, I was home alone for 3 hours while my partner was taking my son to a play group, and I just found myself putting YouTube on the telly and watching loads of Lee's videos. Not the knife tutorials, but actually seeing him and seeing him speak. And one of them I forgot he done long ago, and it was a video response to a competition that I ran. And do you know what, if I find the link, I'm going to put it under this video as well, so you can watch it. It's only about 6 minutes or so. And the video response competition that I was running was, what has YouTube done for you? And he just, no notes like this, off the cuff, from his heart. I mean, that was Lee. Everything was from the heart. And he wore it right there. And he was saying basically about, you know, the community in this day and age, especially with the youngsters, and how different they are to times of old, how some of us in our 40s, 50s, 60s would remember, you know, common decency, common courtesy, politeness to one another, especially strangers. You don't really see that much anymore, which is a shame in society. But he found that old school mentality of decency in the YouTube community, and I'll be honest, when I started my channel I had no idea about it, and when it catches you, and it catches you by surprise if you are unaware of the generosity of people willing to help in any way, kit and equipment, hints, tips and ideas, lifts to places, gifts, financial, all sorts. And more important than all of that is someone willing to listen and to offer their advice and help in any way that they think possible for anyone. And Lee was saying that's what YouTube's done for him. And do you know what, I couldn't agree more, because the YouTube community, especially at times like this, really do rally round, you know, and help. And that's going to be really needed right now. Lee was the sole earner in his family household. His wife, his 3 kids and 2 dogs. You know, they're going to need every help that they can get, you know. I mean, there's just things that people don't realise until they actually try and put themselves in that person's position, and try and break it down. The run-off-the-mill stuff. I'll make some notes because, you know, I could easily forget these, and some of these I think is quite important. So it's stuff like food, the bills still have to be paid, fuel for the car, getting the kids to and from school, etc. Kids' clothes, paying the rent as well, because they didn't own their house. I think they were not far from owning it, to be honest. Maybe a year or 2, who knows, or whatever. But, you know, the bills have to be paid, and obviously if everything's in Lee's name, it's going to take time to get access to that. And in the meantime, you know, as far as I know, there's bills stroke food paid to the end of this month, and it's only 12 days away. And then after that, you know, I couldn't begin to imagine the situation of that family. And the kids never going to see their dad again. Oh shit, not again. And obviously his wife, 16 years, they were true soulmates. I mean, my partner, Saffron, met Crystal, Lee's wife, at the prepper meet last year, and they was inseparable. You know, them two, man, they were just different parts of the country, different way of life, but they both had that connection where they were just genuine. The humour was on the same level, and both Crystal and my partner are absolute grafters. You know, they will work through anything, no matter what it is, do whatever it takes for the family. So, all I can say is, if anyone can help, send anything they can. Don't have to. No one has to, but it will really help. And there'll be like a link under the video if anyone wants to donate anything to help out in this time, because they're going to really go through it. And you know, them kids, I just feel so sorry for them kids at the moment. They're having to get used to dad not being there, just like that. So what I've said to Crystal over the phone was, this year's prepper meet I'm actually going to do in Lee's honour. Now, I'm going to do a separate video about the prepper meet, but all I can say is it's going to be in June for now. And Lee's family, Lee's mum and dad, other members of the family, and of course Lee's kids and Crystal are going to come down, because they knew how much the YouTube community meant to Lee, and they wanted to come. They wanted to come down and thank people personally. It's going to be real emotional. Emotional. So, you know, I can see people, because Lee touched people around the world, customers alike, and I just know people are going to fly from the States, Australia, etc., to shake Lee's dad's hand, etc., hug his wife, play with the kids, give gifts, whatever. I just know it in my heart that that's going to happen. So the prepper meet is going to be held in Lee Bennett's honour this year, and I just urge as many people to come as possible. Speaking of which, any information I can find out about the funeral, if it's okay with Lee's parents or maybe Crystal, as many people as possible, because Lee just touched so many people, and I know a lot of people would want to say their goodbye. And at the moment, all that's going to happen is he's going to be cremated. And Lee always said, never. Lee's love of nature, like most of us outdoors, he wants to be buried, but you know, that costs. So you know, we really need to make sure that that happens, and we can't have a brother going like that. It's not right. No sir, it's not right. Even Crystal said she'll sell everything in the house to make sure that he does not get cremated. So I'm really sorry to break the bad news, but it is what it is. And anyone out there, have a drink for Lee, okay? I have already, and I'm going to have another one because I want to. Gonna miss my mate. Big style. And for those of you who didn't know Lee that well, he wasn't a big drinker, and You know, I always used to wind them up at the prepper meets, and when we went out camping as well. I said every time I went round to film people and whatnot, and their shelter systems and all that, you know, thing that goes on. Yeah, when I stumbled across Lee, I always said, "Oh, there he is with another beer in his hand," and he always used to say the same thing. I can't say it in his accent, or I'll get slaughtered over it. But he always said, like, "I've had this for over an hour or 2 hours, and I've got him every time." Lee wasn't a big drinker, but yeah, he liked to drink. He worked hard and he played hard now and again, but he wasn't a big drinker. So I'm not a big drinker myself, but my little shot glass from K Jumper 1, it always gets used on special occasions like this. So I'll propose a toast to my late friend Lee Bennett. Here's to you, Lee. Sleep well, mate. There's not much else I can say, really. I'm not going to apologise for the tears because it's human, and why should you apologise for being human? So it's a big shock, I know. It really is. It's hit me hard, and my partner didn't even know him, but she's like really suffering. So anyway, I don't want to waffle. I've said what needs to be said. Now I'm going to put in a few clips and pictures and maybe some video of Lee, and as many links as possible regarding what I've just been talking about. I'm going to post underneath the video. So there's not much more to say other than thanks very much for watching and stay funky.